And can Tsipras make the midnight deadline then? Another day, another deadline, it seems, in this Greek story.
So let me walk you through what's happening here, Anna. Yesterday we saw the formal letter to the ESM being applied for. So the application is now in. Now we've got to come up with the details of that application, and we have until, as you say, midnight Brussels time tonight before we get the details of that coming out. So we've got until midnight tonight. So what are we looking for here? We've got to remember that this is a 3-year deal they're applying for here. This isn't just the back end of the last programme. This is a whole new programme. So this is going to be very detailed. Detailed, in fact, in the words of Mr. Tsipras, comprehensive and specific in terms of the proposals that have to be made. And they are being done in an incredibly short period of time. Normally this would take weeks, months, possibly even longer to get this done, but we're going to be doing it in 24 hours. So what do we think is going to be in there? Well, there's going to have to be a lot of changes on pensions. There's going to have to be a lot of changes on the taxation system. Will there be any application, though, for debt restructuring? The US was into this story yesterday. Jack Lew talking about the fact that maybe Greece does need some sort of debt restructuring. So he's putting pressure on the other side of the story as well, onto the creditors too. But we have until midnight tonight. Then we get that story scored, so we get that application scored, and it then goes into the Eurogroup and then goes to the leaders come Sunday. The letter was also sent to the Eurogroup yesterday. So this is part of a process. Yesterday, the letter going to the European Stability Mechanism. Today, we get the details of the specifics surrounding the application. Then we get it scored, then it goes to the Eurogroup, and then it goes to the leaders. So that's how the process is going to work over the next few hours and the next few days. Very, very quick process to make all of this happen. But we do have a starting point. At least there's some of the proposals from the existing application that probably are still valid. But nevertheless, this is effectively a blank piece of paper, Anna.
And meanwhile, the banks in Greece remain closed, Guy.
They certainly do, yes. The queues continue. The credit controls very much continue. Probably affecting individuals less than it is the corporations here. Some parts of the economy have a lot of cash. Some parts of the country have no cash in terms of the companies. So companies are really finding it incredibly tough at the moment. The ECB met yesterday. The ELA was maintained. They're going to meet again on Monday, post all of this procedures surrounding the bailout, and if there is a bailout, well, the ECB will be allowed to increase that ELA and allow liquidity back into the system. There is a lot of talk swirling around Athens about mergers, about banks being forced together. They're very short on capital, they're very short on liquidity. There's also talk of maybe the ECB asking the leaders to guarantee the collateral that is being put in as a result of the ELA, and that would maybe give the ECB a little bit more cover as well. So a lot of things happening surrounding the ELA, and an awful lot of things happening surrounding this application to the ESM, Anna.
Guy, thank you very much. Let's get to Hans then. What are we hearing from Greece's creditors this Thursday morning then, Hans? Good morning.
Well, some of their creditors are willing to talk quite openly about the debt write-down. That's the IMF. That's been the stated position. Jack Lew became an ally of Alexis Tsipras yesterday when he said, for the first time, the U.S. staking out a position saying that public debt needs to be part of the solution. So from Mrs. Lagarde, though, what we had is really a restatement of her principle, but the timing of it was significant. Have a listen.
We have always advised that that program walk on 2 legs, if you will. One leg is about significant reforms and fiscal consolidation, as we have advised in the case of Ireland, Portugal, Cyprus, and outside the Eurozone, Latvia, Iceland, and it has worked. And the other leg is debt restructuring, which we believe is needed in the particular case of Greece for it to have debt sustainability.
Now, Lagarde also pledged to remain involved in the process. That's an indication the IMF would be part of any additional third bailout. Now, Mr. Tsipras was in Strasbourg yesterday, gave a railing speech against austerity. Quite a bit of jeers, some cheers as well. Remarkable day in Strasbourg. At the same time that he's railing against austerity, though, he sent this letter. Guy was talking about this is the official ESM request letter. I think it's significant that it was a 3-year request. Before, it was always a 2-year request. And I think the timing is also significant. He did talk about how he wants to implement these measures almost immediately, as early as next week. He did hint that he's going to require some debt sustainability, some debt restructuring, some long-term. He couched it, though, in a pretty friendly term. This wasn't him demanding it. He said the opportunity to discuss debt sustainability. Meanwhile, the tone out of Germany, very subdued. We heard spokespeople there yesterday say they want to see the specifics. They're very interested in what they're going to get tonight. And then Madame Merkel, she was in Belgrade last night, and she said the situation does not look good. One final note, according to the German government, and according to officials familiar with Merkel's position, they are very skeptical about what they're going to get from Greece. Guys?